Hey everyone, gonna do some FEIS makeup on Kylie. This was the look I created, the finished look. Show you some tips and tricks and stuff. All right, so I started with this MAC Fix Plus. It's a prep prime spray, so it's just getting her face primed up for the makeup. And then I go in with this Bye Bye Under Eye from It Cosmetics all over her lid. And I'm just showing you that this is a good drugstore alternative. So putting that all over her lid, covering up any imperfections. Getting a clean slate to start with. And I am taping off the corners of her eyes. So like where her eye ends almost to like the end of her eyebrow. And yes, that's gaffer's tape because that's all I had. But hey, if you're out of FEIS and you forget regular tape, you have that. A trick with the tape is to stick it to the back of your hand first so it's not super sticky, and then stick it to whoever's face. And you want to just make sure that the tape is even on both sides. And I'm just putting that concealer all over both eyes. You'll see me use this spray a ton. Okay, now for the eyeshadow. I'm going in with this James Charles palette, and I'm finding a shade that is very close to her skin tone, just to pack over that concealer and make it more matte so the concealer isn't really like wet or sticky, so that the eyeshadow will just blend nicely. Next, I'm going to use this Ciota palette. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I'm going to find a shade that is just a little bit darker than what I just used, but not super dark. And I'm going to start using this. This is like a medium fluffy blending brush. I use this brush a lot. I really like this brush. I'm going to just pack that in the crease and just, there's just going to be tons of blending and building. So I'm just going back and forth in the crease. And if you doing circle motions also, but if you just push that brush in, you'll feel the crease. But it's lots of blending. All right, so I'm going back to this James Charles palette. And I'm using this brighter orange now. A little bit darker than what I just used. And just putting that in the same spot, back into the crease. All right, now I'm dipping in this maroon and this hot pink. They kind of show up, they look the same on camera, but in person they're not. And Now I'm doing the same thing, but I want to leave some of that orange up top. This is where you really want to create a line. So you do have to push in to feel the crease. And I mean, brushes, it really does depend on the type of brush you use, I think. Like I said, I like this medium fluffy brush. This is a Anastasia Beverly Hills brush, I believe. It's two-sided, so it has a flat brush on the other end, which I'm going to use. And I use this brush a lot. I think I use it the whole time for this eye look. But lots of blending. It's okay if underneath the crease doesn't look that great, because we are going to cover that up. This is a cut crease eye makeup look, so we'll cover up some of the underneath. So you'll see what I mean. But it's okay if it doesn't look perfect underneath the crease. All right, so here's the other side of the brush that I use. And I think I did probably spray it with the MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus spray. Because I really wanted a dark, more prominent line right there. So if you spray the end of the brush with the MAC, or you could even use a little bit of water. I've done that before when I'm somewhere where I don't have everything I need. It will make the eyeshadow a little bit darker in that spot. And I just really wanted a darker line right there. So you'll see me go back and forth and just make sure it looks even. All right, so once I think I'm happy with that, I'm spraying her with the MAC spray again. All right, so I'm taking the same concealer that I started with. I'm just putting a little bit on the back of my hand. And I'm going to take a concealer brush. And this is where you need to have a lot of patience, especially with kids, or maybe just Kylie, she moves a lot. But the best thing to do here is start low and build up, because if you start too high and you mess up, there's really no going back. So just start low, build up. You want it to be like a half sun on her eyelid. And just work at it. I will say a light color concealer, it will work best here because it will really show the contrast between the two colors. All right, so once I'm happy with that, because I go back and forth a lot, make sure it looks pretty even on both sides. Give her another spray. Now I just took the same color that we started with, the color that was closest to her after we put on the concealer, the eyeshadow color. I'm just putting that right back on the concealer so it's not, you know, wet. Now this Too Faced glitter glue, and this is a BH Cosmetics. It's like a loose glitter. I have two of them. I have like a gold and a pink, and I actually used the gold and I didn't want to, and you'll see that. But here I'm just putting down the glitter glue right on top of, just on top of the concealer. So this is the gold color, and I'm like, what's going on here? And I'm putting the glue on this side. And here's the pink. Here's the color that I want. So I just squeeze a little bit of glue out. You can put on a piece of paper, back of your hand, and dip that flat brush into it, and then dip the brush right into the glitter. So here's the pink color, which is so much better. But I just had the two right next to each other, and I didn't even think to look. So I will attempt to fix that on the other side, but yep, you just keep glue, pack the glue, pack the glitter, pack the glue, pack the glitter. You just go back and forth between the two until you're happy with the amount of glitter. So I did my best to get as much as that gold color off as I could, and now I'm just putting concealer back over it to kind of start fresh. Mistakes happen. It's just a work in progress. All right, so back in with the pink glitter, fixing it up. So I'm going in with a looser, like a thinner silver loose glitter now. Same thing with the glue and the same brush. I'm just only going to put this halfway, so her inner corner to like the halfway like of her pupil, where her pupil would sit. So now I'm using this liquid liner, which is probably my least favorite thing to do. It is not easy, especially on a kid who likes to jitter and move around a lot. So it's something you have to work at. And for me, honestly, with lashes, I feel like it's not super important because I feel like a strip lash does cover a lot of it. So yeah. Now I did take the tape off. So when I create this wing, I'm using the edge of the eyeshadow as my guide. So I'm staying right on the edge. You can go up to where like the crease is. and then you just want to meet it at the top. You could leave the tape on. I just don't. I don't know why I didn't, but if you think it will help you, you can leave the tape on. And honestly, I would much rather do this with a really sharp pencil, because this liquid liner is not my favorite. It's not really that easy to work with over glitter. So, yeah. Okay, so this is like a little trio of highlighters. I'm going to use that first one and just put it into the inner corner of her eye to create kind of like a little highlight, glowy look. And also the reason I start with eyes is because if you do a full face of makeup and then do your eyes and anything, the glitter falls on your face or the eyeshadow falls down, it's easier to, it's harder to clean up. But if you start with your eyes and you get your face dirty, it's okay. You can wipe it away and clean it and all that. So these are just lashes that Kylie got at a, like an Instagram giveaway. They don't have a name or a brand on them, so I don't know what they are. And you can see me at first, I measured her eyes, because most of the time, the lash is not going to fit your eye. We all have different size lids and everything. So measure it first. You can cut them to size so that they fit you and they're not hanging off the edge and falling off. And some more spray. Okay, for foundation, this is not Kylie's color at all, but this is what I had. And it looks crazy to start, but we make it work. I'm just using this. This is like, I think, a Real Techniques beauty blender. And just putting this all over her face. All right, so once I wrap that up, I'm going to take a concealer that is a pretty light shade, a few shades lighter than what we use for foundation anyway, and put that under eyes in kind of like a triangle shape, an upside down triangle shape, a little bit in the middle of her forehead, down the center of the nose and the chin. And I do use my fingers to get under the eye because I just feel like it's hard to get up close with this beauty blender, but I will use that to kind of not have such a harsh line between the foundation and the concealer. All right, so now I'm using this Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's like a translucent loose setting powder. And I'm using that same beauty blender. I think I probably wet it again and wrung it out. And I'm putting this in all the spots that I just put the concealer. It does not have to be perfect. It's supposed to look messy and crazy. And you're going to let this sit for about 5 to 10 minutes, even if you want. And it's just going to bring up those areas and make them highlighted, make them stand out. This is like a little highlight and contour palette. So while those under eyes are baking with that powder, you just want to find the hollow of the cheekbone and go down. And then I also use that powder right under it just to make that contour like a more prominent line. So you can see, do the same, do it on each side. It's okay if the line looks a little harsh right now because I will go in with some foundation, powder foundation, and blend everything together. I decided while that powder was sitting there, I was going to get her natural lashes underneath the lash, which you can do it before you put on the lash, but me personally, I just don't. No way is the right or wrong way. Whatever works for you. This is just the way I like to do it. So now that that's set for a few minutes, I am just taking a big fluffy powder brush and just wiping off, just gently like swiping off all of that powder. This is a powder foundation I like. So with that, it's you know, going to help kind of bring everything together between the highlight and the contour, so everything's not so harsh. It's what I'm using to blend everything together. I did go back in with the contour and just do the top of her forehead because I forgot about that. All right, so more spray. I use the spray a lot because I feel like you're building layers on the face and you need to, you know, set them. All right, so this is a bronzer that I'm going to use just to warm up her cheeks a little bit and kind of blend where her eyes were baking to where that contour line is down her cheekbone. This is a nice blush. Just popping a little blush on there. More spray just to set everything again. And this is a MAC eyebrow pencil. I'm just following kind of her natural eyebrow because I don't want to give her crazy eyebrows. Okay, so I'm gonna spray her again, set everything. Now I'm using like a flat angled shader brush, and I'm taking that bright orange color that we used. I think it was the third color we used, and putting that all the way across the whole bottom lid. I probably wet the brush and put a little more on because I wasn't happy with how bright the color was. Okay, so with that hot pink and maroon color, I'm doing the same thing. I'm not gonna quite go all the way in though. I kind of want it to be like an ombre effect. Okay, so with this eyeliner pencil, I am just going to go about halfway, like pretty much the same as where I just did the pink and no further than that. I don't like to go all the way across because I do feel like it closes your eye out. It makes your eye look smaller. So yeah, then I will just hit that with some mascara. So in the midst of doing concealer and baking and all that, I felt like I lost a little bit of that inner corner highlight, so I'm just going over that same spot again. Add a little bit just to the tip of the nose. Alright, so I'm going to use this fan brush, and I'm spraying it with the MAC Prep and Prime spray, and I'm using that same color that I used on her nose and her inner corners, that same first one, and putting this on her cheekbones, and this really makes like a glowy, dewy, fresh look. So lips are kind of self-explanatory. You just really want to follow, the line of your lips. You can have them make funny faces like this if it helps. So I used a lipstick to fill that in, but I decided to use a liquid lipstick. If I was at a FEIS, I would definitely use a liquid lipstick because I just think they stay on longer and they hold up better. That's just my opinion. A lipstick can rub off more easily. Okay, so I just give a good spray at the end all over for everything to really set, and then this is the final look. Now you can see that in her crease there is a darker shade there that wasn't there. That's because I decided to go over her strip lash with liquid liner and just make that line a little thicker and nicer looking. It is a lot easier once the strip lash is on because you have it there to guide you. And when it was still wet, she opened her eye and it smudged. So I just took a little black shadow on the brush and just blend that in the crease really good to make that line. And I kind of actually like the way it turned out better. So, all right, guys. So that's it. I hope all of you are staying safe. We miss you. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Bye.